I'm Courtney of Color Me Courtney, and this is my handmade home in New York City. My name's Courtney, aka Color Me Courtney on the internet. I run a fashion, color, and lifestyle blog where I talk about body positivity, color theory, and color combinations, and we focus on a new color every month and just promoting happiness on my little corner of the internet. It was important to me that my home was a reflection of not only like my personality like as a real person, but also the personal brand that I've created. This building actually used to be a refrigerator factory, so the apartments are all kind of like weird shaped, but it gave us the opportunity to build a crazy rainbow closet in the middle of the living room. So we are here in my rainbow closet, which is super fun. So the cool part about this room, and one reason I'm really proud of it, is because it wasn't a room. We created it. This was just an extension of my living room, and it had these big white columns here that kind of separated it out. So we used that to actually create walls and create a whole separate section so I could have my closet and I could be messy if I wanted to. Each one of these has a bunch of clothes inside. These first three have like a short hanger here, so that's why it's for tops and jackets. And then I have some drawers down there. I even have some overflow of shoes in here because, believe it or not, even though I have a lot of shoe storage, I still overflow. So here on the other side of my closet, we have my shoe wall, which is really fun. As you might notice, we have one missing here because it's what I have on today. There's only one black pump and it has a lollipop heel. So I don't know if it really counts as a black pump, but there's not much black in my wardrobe. It's mostly color. Honestly, I thought that was the only place that was gonna be rainbow like that because I didn't think my fiance would want this to be as colorful as it is, but seeing it in my closet kind of helped us inspire the rest of the apartment. So after we designed the closet, the next big thing was the bookcase build-in that you see in the living room. And one of the coolest things is this is actually a DIY. This is just wrapping paper. And it's also nice because then you're not committed to it. Originally when I moved in here, I wanted to do like a blue bookcase or a big colorful moment that way, but then I'd have to always have a blue bookcase. And this way I could have a blue one and a purple one, a pink one and a yellow one, and I could change it all the time if I wanted to. Sorry, waffles. This is my little desk area and kind of where I get a lot of my work done. So I have this little like board situation, I guess. It's like a metal frame where you can clip different photos to it. Sometimes I'll clip colors that I'm inspired by. So this is kind of where I pull different colors from that either I can use to create outfits with or just get inspired by color or to put up here on my wall. So this is actually the color of the month. This is Living Coral. So along my hallway, I created these Pantone art pieces. Instead of writing the actual color code, I made my own, and I made my own name for the color too. So all of them have meaning. We have one that says Awful Waffle, and that is because my French Bulldog, his name is Waffles. Sometimes he's awful. Oh, that's good dog. So I really wanted a yellow room. I love the color yellow, and just having a yellow kitchen makes sense. So we have these really big, bold stripes, and then we also played on using some solid color yellow that you see here above and below my cabinets. I have like yellow candy, which did you know that you can actually buy only yellow Starbursts, but these are not, it's important to note, these are not lemon Starbursts because those are disgusting. This is mango Starburst, which is so much yummier and still fits with the color scheme. So you don't have to sacrifice and get gross candy just to make it match your kitchen. So now we're gonna head into my bedroom. Come on in and I will show you. In here we have like a coral and teal theme, which is really fun. We actually picked this color combination like last year and now it's the color of the year, so we're seeing a lot more of it. I think I actually picked the bedding first and then that was the reason I was really drawn to paint the wall. So I love a good like gallery wall or art collage. I really liked this flamingo feather and I love that it kind of had the coral color scheme and tied it together. So I bought a second one of the same piece and just decided to flip it here. So we have animals just kind of hanging out all in this room. So we have them here, We have like the giraffes over back on my nightstand. I even have a zebra rug. I really wanted to have a pink room, so I decided to make that in my bathroom. To start and end your day with like something colorful and fun is a really great thing. Another thing I really love about my bathroom is that there's all these kind of positive images of people who look like me that you don't always see represented in the media. So if people were coming over, they could feel welcome or supported, maybe if they don't ever feel that way in other traditional media forms.
I feel like my dream for my entire life has been to own a house. I was never like what's my wedding gonna be like? I was like, what's my house gonna look like? Hey, I'm Jillian Rose Reed.
And I'm Marty Shannon.
And this is our handmade home in Los Angeles, California. When we first moved in, the house was extremely old and unupdated. So it had carpet on the floors. It was like this gross blue carpet. The walls were all wood paneled, which we left, we just painted. So wood paneling, everything was old. Like the bathroom still had the old blue and pink porcelain sinks and toilets from the 50s, which are cool now, but they did not work. They were not cute. This is our main living space. I think the thing we love most about this room is probably the fireplace wall. As you can tell, it's pretty magnificent. It was also original to the home. So it's one of the only things that we didn't want to change about the house because it's so pretty and spectacular and old. So in the main rooms, we went with brighter white, and then we played with more color in some of the smaller spaces.
The white feels like a blank canvas, and we can do as much color as we want without having to worry about clashing with the walls or anything.
This is probably my favorite corner of the entire house. I love the chair. It gets so much natural light. The addition of the cat really makes it extra cozy.
I promise she's not a stuffed cat. We will stuff her when she passes.
Marty!
What? But it's just not right now. She'll move at some point.
But this is like one of those corners where every morning I wake up and I walk in the house and I'm like, oh, it just looks so pretty and quaint and happy. Like you just want to curl up and have a cup of tea and start your day.
One thing we love about this space is all of the plants. You'll notice every space that we can fill has got some green to it. It's got some hanging, it's got dynamic.
I think plants will never go out of style.
Right.
I think that adding the pop of green to a space, I think that they're warm and inviting. Also, if you have a home full of real plants, obviously there's so many health benefits to that, but even our fake plants just make the house feel happier. So one of the very first things we did in the house during our renovation was take down this wall. So the kitchen was really tiny. It was just a little galley kitchen. It had some extra cupboards up here, but we didn't feel like we would need all that space. So we felt like it would be a much better use of the space to take the wall down and have the more open concept. We do a lot of entertaining, and this definitely feels like the central space in the home. So to have it open up to the rest of the house just gives us that bigger feel. We had no experience with renovations before we started. Both of our families do. So my mom has had several interior design jobs, event planning, business owner. So she kind of had the whole design knack on lock, and then Marty's dad being a contractor. So both of us grew up watching our parents be really good at what they do. And so we picked up little tips and tricks. And so when it came to this house, we just decided, let's just do it ourselves. New counters, new cabinets, appliances, everything was super old. Actually, I think this cabinet is the only original cabinet. We just took the door off to make it open because we felt like it was like a nice little piece of the original kitchen that we could keep alive.
It's a cool one.
Yeah, everything else is new. One of the biggest mistakes that we made was going cheaper in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We did prefab cabinets, and they're great for, what we needed, but they're falling apart for sure. The floors, we love the flooring, but it's laminate hardwood and it doesn't hold up. So places in like my office, it's
coming up in places,
it's coming up.
Cracking.
When we do our house the next time, that we'll put a little bit more money into, but this was also our starter home and we were on a budget. So I feel like we did a really, really good job of designing this place on a budget and still making it look fancier than it actually is. Coming into our main bath, we definitely did a lot of work. The toilet and the shower were original from 1950, so they were that they were cool, the blue porcelain, pink porcelain, but they were not functional, so they had to go bye-bye.
They did have to go bye-bye.
And then bye-bye. Also, this wall didn't exist. It was just a tub straight into the toilet, and we thought that was kind of gross. So we added this wall before we tiled the inside of the shower, added some new tile on the floor, and that's pretty much it. This bathroom's pretty small, so it didn't require that much work. Okay, now we're gonna go into my office.
Woohoo!
This is my little safe space where I spend a lot of my time. This actually used to be our guest bedroom, but during COVID, I needed a place to work from home, so this ended up becoming my office, and I think it's one of the rooms that I love the most in the house because of all of the color. This is the first place that we experimented with wallpaper and like a funky color couch. And I think that this office gives really good vibes. I'm an acting teacher and an acting coach, so I teach 6 classes a week, which currently are all held on Zoom, and then I see private coaching students, which happens mostly on Zoom, but sometimes here in the office as well. So this is kind of my little client place where they get to relax and, you know, find their creative mind here in this fun little room. So this chair we actually found from a vintage furniture dealer here in LA. It's actually missing one of these little knobs because we took this chair to the high desert where we got married last October, and our wedding got blown away in a 70-mile-per-hour windstorm. So some of the things that went to the desert came back a little different than when they were taken there.
This is probably one of my favorite vintage finds. I have to be very delicate because it's glued on glued on glued.
When we bought it from the flea market, it was pretty much falling apart. So we got a pretty good deal on it. It definitely needed some TLC. It's like a fan lamp.
Yeah.
It's a lamp and a fan.
It's not supposed to be either, I think. I think it's just supposed to sit there, but we like it a lot. I don't know if the fan is from the same decade as the base or any of the electronics, but I think part of the reason why I like it is because it just seems like somebody just is like, I'm gonna put some pieces of things together and sell it at a flea market. And that's sort of my whole character. While she's working in this little tiny space, I am in the little back area here. Let's go see my studio. So I am a producer of music, songwriter, anything sound related. I sometimes score for short films, do ads. When we do our ads, I score for those.
This is like the groovy room with like the lighting, and it's where the music gets produced. So we wanted to make sure it felt like really cozy, like you were stepping into somebody's music studio in like New York City or something.
I painted that picture of our house up there.
The weed sign is from our wedding. We had a weed lounge at our wedding that none of our guests got to enjoy because, again, it blew away into the
Yeah, it was good.
But we managed to save the sign.
It was just this plastic. I made this and put that on there. And so these newspapers here were found as insulation in the walls that we've taken down in the house. We have bags and bags of newspapers from the 50s and 60s. Blockbuster video here. Mortal Thoughts. You should really check that out if you haven't seen it. It also doubles as a nerd room for cards. Because I have an obsession about collecting things.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There's original Pokemon cards. That's cool. People like those.
Totally.
You guys know. Camera guys know.
Okay, so we do have one other tiny little bathroom here. This is kind of just a cute little guest bathroom. We did flamingo wallpaper because we thought it's such a tiny space, why not do something super fun with it?
Yeah, nobody sees it, so we can get weird with it.
It's actually so cute. It's I think one of my favorite wallpapers.
Yeah, it's pretty great. My favorite part of the house is definitely outside of the house. No offense to the house.
So this is actually where we spend the majority of our time outside. Our friends have named this outdoor space the Oasis. But you know, we live in Southern California, so we spend a lot of time outside. We eat most of our dinners outside, so had to have a big dining room table outdoors was actually really important so that we could really embody that indoor-outdoor life. And I feel like that's the main way that we keep this space from feeling small, is that the doors are usually open and we usually live half outside. Okay, this is Birdie. Wake up, Bird. She loves to just bask all day in the sun. She's fun. You can roll her over like a roly-poly. She's out here all day long. She loves napping on the big blue chair. The entire front yard was just dirt and succulents. And it was actually, I mean, they tried to do a drought resistant yard, which was obviously great for California, but not so great for safety. You couldn't really walk through without having to worry if you were gonna get stuck with something. So we took almost all of the plants that were in the front yard, moved them to the backyard, and then for the last 7 years, Marty has made it this like wonderland that it is. He tends to all the plants, he tends to all the animals, the little woodland creatures.
That's right. Here's the thing. These are my babies. This is the blue agave, aka agave americana, aka century plant, aka H.P. Lovecraft demon from the darkness.
We named him Bowser.
This is Bowser, and that's Medusa. And then there's too many plants back there for me to remember the names. So
Those grow. One day we'll fix them. So when we bought the house, this area was also extremely underdeveloped. There was no tile. It was kind of just messy. So we turned it into another seating area. We really, really love entertaining. So anytime we can come out and just pile people in, we love to do that. So it was important for us. And Marty loves a courtyard.
yeah.
So he wanted to create this little like courtyard feel in between the two homes. Mm-hmm. I think the proudest DIY moment was probably our bedroom.
Yeah.
Our primary bedroom is actually detached from the rest of the house. The previous owners had transitioned the space into something livable, so we felt like because the actual house is so tiny, it might be easier for us to have our primary living space in the biggest part of the house, which just so happens to be in the backyard. But Marty actually did a lot of the design in here.
So I wrapped, this big frame in wallpaper that we had. I got some cool metal signs and I drilled the holes myself, and you could see it's very DIY. But we've had it for...
Oh, we've had it for I think he made it when we moved in. So we've had this for 6 or 7 years.
Every day I'm waiting for it to the bulbs to explode.
No, it's
but
perfect.
It's holding strong.
Everyone always says, why did we choose the word damn? We have no idea.
No.
It just worked. Really, this became the primary bedroom because of its size, but we're also just a sucker for old, cool things, and this ceiling is just so cool with these wooden beams.
Yeah.
We could not imagine making this space storage when it looks so cool. So we sleep here instead.
The bedroom not connected to the house at first, we thought, well, what if we have to pee in the middle of the night? Or what if it's raining? Or, all the million reasons you don't want to walk from inside to outside to inside again. But it has sort of forced us, but now we've learned to love it.
We really love the feel of indoor-outdoor living, and most of our doors are open all day long anyway, so really having that separate back house just feels like an extension of the home. It's never felt like a burden at all. There are definitely ways that we've made the most out of this space. I think there's a couple key elements. One is using bigger pieces of furniture. We never wanted to fill a small space with a bunch of small things to make it look more dwarfed. So bigger statement pieces. And I think the other thing that we do to maximize our space is we allow the space to constantly grow and evolve with us. This house looks nothing like it did when we bought it and renovated it 7 years ago.
Yeah. Doesn't look anything like it did 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's constantly changing with us, and I think that's really what makes people go wow, you've really utilized the space, is that it's very well lived in, and it feels very much like us at any given time. Okay, so back into the main house, we actually have some more thrift finds here. This giant poof I found at the Pasadena flea market. I actually got it as a present for Marty, but it was also kind of a present for myself because I loved it so much.
And it mostly ended up being a present for our dog. That's her little bed.
She loves it, but it's so cool. And then this vintage sign, we actually found this in Detroit, Michigan, and I had my mom pack it up and ship it to us because we loved it so much. This coffee table is also really special to us. This coffee table and the outside dining table were also built by Ziggy the Hipster, our furniture friend. And they tell a lot of stories. We had a party once. A girl thought it'd be a good idea to dance on the table. It was a great idea. The table cracked. But now it has more character and it's a fun story to tell.
And now,
so
yeah.
Love it.
I couldn't tell you her name, but every time I see that crack, I think of her. So.
I can tell you her name. I think when people walk through the door, I want them to feel happy and warm. I think the biggest compliment that we've gotten is that our house does feel so cozy and so inviting. We always want it to just feel like it's everybody's home, not just like a stark place.
And I would be lying if I didn't want people to go, whoa, this is cool, every time they walk in.
Yeah, we think it's cool. We want other people to think it's cool.
I would say my home is daring, colorful, and playful, but also elevated. Hi, my name is Danny Daisy, and this is my handmade home in Los Angeles, California. Hi, my name is Danny Daisy. I'm an interior designer, fashion designer, textile designer. I do too many things, and this is my colorful Maximal home in Los Angeles. Come on in. This is my house of color. When we moved in here, it looked nothing like this. This was nothing but a white box. So there was not a lot of color going on, and I think we really turned this house on its head. We wallpapered the ceiling, we changed out this lighting fixture for something really statement-y. Then we did this fun accent wall. I love to put an accent wall on the very first wall you see when you walk into the house, and it really gives that pop of color. We picked a really fun tile. Again, I tied in the black mantle, the hearth right here, and the dark floor. So we did this fun circle motif, tied in the pink that we have in the room, as well as the black and yellow. So a lot of people ask me all the time, where did you get your couch? This is a modular couch. This wasn't like a tricolor, multicolor couch. It's a modular couch, and we just ordered each section in a different color, and I think it makes a total statement piece, and it's a definite furniture buying hack that really worked out. I think paint is the most powerful tool in design. What it can do to a space is it's just so impactful. One thing you'll notice about this room is there's still a lot of white walls. And I'm not mad at a white wall. I think that white wall can actually be really nice and bring in a lot of light to a room, but it's really about having those pops of color. And something that I'm really known for in my design is having something a little different on each wall. This is another really easy way to start introducing color into the wall. This is just a circle mural. All we did was put a nail in the center of the wall, took a string, a pencil, drew the circle using the nail as an anchor point, and then painted it in. And this is actually a floor rug that I just stapled on the wall, which is another fun way to add texture and different elements to the wall. And rugs are a lot cheaper than a textured art piece. So another wall that you see when you walk in, the living room flows into the dining room. So I added a fun little statement here. So when you walk in, you see yellow, you see pink, then you see the green of the kitchen, which we'll get to in a moment. Favorite piece of the house is this table. How cool is it? It's different colors of marble all inlaid together. And as an artist myself, I'm all about finding artistic statement pieces for the home. It's so special and so unique, and it's really a big room given the size of the house, so I needed to find something that was gonna fill it and kind of be the centerpiece of that room. And I think this statement table is something that so many people notice right away. So I designed all of my interiors on Photoshop first, and this was a wall I was just planning on leaving white. But then when I finished this space, it just looked so odd, and I feel like I needed to add something. So I ended up doing a really simple mural. And if you can see behind here, basically it's just like a half arc that intersects with the circle and then is painted in the middle where they intersect. And then I put this really fun macrame art piece on top. And now it's a really fun statement wall, and it ties into the ceiling, and it ties into the table with the color, and the rug also ties in all the color and really makes it make sense, even though there's so much color going on in this room. And if you divert your eyes up, we have a pink ceiling. I love that this house had original ceiling, coved ceilings. It has really great bones, which is really easy for me to work with as a designer. But adding this pop of color and the wallpaper just really brings your eyes up and shows the cool detail in the ceiling. And another one of my favorite hacks is switching out the canned lighting. So all of these cute little lights that you see with the brass base and the alabaster, this was just a candle lighting. We used a candle lighting converter kit and swapped them out, and it was super easy. And instead of having boring recessed lighting, we have cute little statement pieces that actually add to the design and really make the ceiling a part of the art piece as well. Let me take you to our kitchen. Look at, this is the most fun retro green, and somehow it still works with the rest of the space. Switching out lighting, painting, hardware is really the best way to transform a space on a budget. These were recessed lighting. Now they're beautiful semi-flush fixtures, and it adds just so much character to a space. I feel like recessed lighting, I'm like recessed lighting's #1 enemy. I'm trying to cancel canned lighting. You'll see in our house how much character and fun the lighting switch adds. And you'll see again and again, there's like kind of a circle theme going on in the house, whether it's in the tile, the light fixtures, or the little accent walls that we do. When we first bought this house, all of the counters were gray. I love every color in the world. I even love black and white. I don't like gray. The counters I knew had to go, and I think adding pattern, I mean, I'm a pattern designer, so adding pattern was such a fun touch to this kitchen. We actually kept all of the original cabinetry and just painted them green. If you use a sponge roller, you can repaint cabinets, and these have stood up to a year of wear and tear. We also switched out all of the hardware. That's another affordable hack. We did these really cool brass knobs. We switched out everything for brass. We even got this gorgeous brass sink happening. I find so many people are afraid of color, which to me is so silly. I mean, color is a beautiful, amazing thing. As a little kid, I'm sure you loved color, but I don't know what made so many grown adults afraid of color. This room is a little office/guest room. I feel like ceilings are the #1 forgotten item when decorating and renovating, and I did not want these ceilings to go to waste. I wanted them to be a part of the design, and really all it took was a little bit of paint, okay, a lot of paint, and some fun trim pieces that we added ourselves. There's always a trust the process moment when painting, because the red and the yellow started to look like ketchup and mustard. I was like, oh my God, did I make a terrible mistake? And then we added the pink accent in. Once a few more coats of paint went on, it really started to work. And then tied together by the ceiling and the fun lighting fixture we put in. I love mixing in the highs and lows of design, finding vintage pieces, and really incorporating them in the space. Okay, our best vintage finds in this house are the vintage Moroccan rugs. I just love the high pile of the rugs and the cool color, and they're really like art pieces on your floor, and I'm all about making sure every single surface in the house has something fun and interesting, and these rugs really bring life to the floors. When you live in LA, you don't have a lot of space, so we try to make the most of all the different rooms in our house. So this is actually a pull-out couch. It is possible to find beautiful pull-out couches. This one's from Joybird, and it's really comfortable. And we're able to use this as a guest room and a little office space, which is really nice. It can be hard to pull off a space that feels colorful and playful, but also grown up and I guess fancy, for lack of a better word. Welcome to our bedroom. And when I say bedroom, it's literally just a room with a bed in it, because that's all we could fit. We chose the smallest room in our house for the bedroom because all we really do is sleep in here, and it's also really a relaxing, peaceful space. We went with matching wallpaper to matching sheets. As a textile designer, it's always been my dream to have like a fully patterned singular room, and that's what we did here. Something we obviously also did was added some pops of color. We went with an orange, I think is really cute, and a little bit of yellow as well. And I think it just kind of makes the room more dynamic and fun. When I was originally designing this room, it was like mostly overwhelmingly blue, but I think the pops of color makes it feel a little more special, a little more warm. I think it really ties in the room. I think every home needs a pop of color somewhere. Even if you're a minimalist, you can use a pop of color, whether it's tied into your pillows, maybe it's an accent wall, a piece of furniture. I think pops of color can just add so much to a space and bring a lot of joy. This is what we like to call the green room or the den. We decided to go with the smallest room for the bedroom and keep this big room for something we can share with friends. This is my pseudo conversation pit area. And what's really cool about this room is it has a hallway right to the main living area, so it's really easy to use as a den, and it also has gorgeous French doors that go out into the patio. So I found these chairs secondhand, and I think they were kind of the biggest inspiration around designing this room. These chairs were so cool. I knew I had to use them, and I was like, I guess we're having a green room in the house. I also paired it with pink. Pink and green is one of my favorite color combinations. We picked the fabric on this couch. It's a modular couch. We also did another wallpapered ceiling. This was very hard to do, but I think it turned out really neat. And something in this room that was a little different, it didn't have the sort of framing, but we still wanted to leave the edges of the ceiling just painted. So we did our own framing with trim here, and these were also recessed lighting that we turned into semi-flush fixtures. And now the ceiling's a beautiful statement when it was just a plain ceiling with canned lights. We also added this little bookshelf here. Another thing about this room is it's my personal closet because it has the biggest closet and where my clothing line is housed. And one of my favorite parts about this room is these gorgeous doors that go into our patio area. Our patio is probably one of our most used spots in the house. It's a small area, but we really made the most of it. Again, California is all about indoor-outdoor living, so we always have the doors open. Sometimes we'll work out here. We're always hosting, and it's really become our little sanctuary in the city. Some of my biggest inspirations for the color scheme here were Palm Springs and the Beverly Hills Hotel. I really wanted it to feel like a resort and like we're on vacation every day. We really made the most of this space with this seating arrangement. We have a fun fire pit in the middle that we love for entertaining. I think the carpet also really makes it feel like that indoor-outdoor living. Blankets, pillows, it's where we have our coffee every morning. It's so cozy. We got so lucky with all of the foliage and landscaping and citrus in our yard. And I think it just adds a fun pop of color with all of the orange. We also have a hot tub. Me and Philip work together at this house. We're here all day long. So we need a place to just relax at night, blow off some steam. And we use it all of the time. I think design is incredibly powerful and can actually change your mood and make you feel more bold and more like yourself.
So this is our ADU. When you work from home, having a separate place to work in, even if it's just across the patio, makes a huge difference in actually separating your work and home life. It's also nice because we do rent our house out for photo shoots because it's very bold, a lot of production in LA, and a lot of video shoots. So when we rent the house out for shoots, we just lock ourselves up in here and work all day. Right here is the biggest mural in the house, definitely the most creative. Here's one of my original paintings. I usually don't end up keeping any of my own art for myself because I get a lot of commissioned pieces and we're usually super busy. But I just wanted to keep something fun in this room that felt creative and it felt like it had my touch on it. This little funky couch is actually another pull-out couch. We moved to the other side of town, so we needed a lot of places for our friends to come crash at when we host parties and things like that.
I'm so passionate about daring design, whether it's my clothing line or my interior design. I want to make things that bring people joy, feel like they bring out their personality, and give them a sense of bravery.
Hi, I'm Natalie Papier, and this is my handmade home in Charlotte, North Carolina. I love meeting artists, I like connecting with artists, I like helping artists in return. I collect a lot of art. I don't ever remember a time when art wasn't my biggest love and passion and influence. My dad's an artist and he's a carpenter, and he renovated the home that we lived in, which was a big Victorian house. And it was so fun to see this mix between him as an artist and how he took that love of art into the home. We moved into our house in Oak Park, and my daughter at the time was 1, my son was 4. This is big, grand Victorian. I think we felt like, oh gosh, we're adults now. We have to like do adult things. I had all the interior walls painted some type of agreeable gray. And after a few months, just like, agreeable gray doesn't agree with us. Like, we are not those people. And it just kind of set my course into what is now my career. You're starting out as a young family and we were a little house broke. We bought the big Victorian and then didn't have the furniture to fill it. So I started experimenting a lot with thrifting and paint. Paint became my best friend. Little by little, I'd take a room at a time. I would find a piece of art and that would inspire color palettes or pattern mixing. And I got really excited about it. And I thought, why not? Why can't we do this? And once you start playing with things that really feel true to you, I think that's when your house can really sing. I started an Instagram for my new business, Handmade, which initially started as pop-up shops. And I got a lot of people asking me for help, and it spiraled. I do art forward design, and that's about being influenced by the art itself. And using a piece that you already have and love is inspiration for the whole room. So the art becomes a focal point, but the whole room is harmonious because you're pulling the palette, the scale, something out from it that highlights the piece. So we've been here in Charlotte for 2.5 years. This house felt grand right when you walk in. It's got all this intricate molding and the fireplaces and big windows. That to me just felt like a canvas. Right when you walk in the front door, you come into our entryway, which is kind of a funky space because it's long and narrow and it's hard to know what kind of furniture to put into an entryway. So I put a lot of different things in here. This is a piano by Frankie Zombie, who I met here in Charlotte. He's just such a cool guy, and I love having a piece of furniture that is art in and of itself. These huge walls with the molding were perfect spots for some large-scale pieces of art, which frames the entryway right when you come in. I have been really obsessing over Stray Dog design for a while. They do very cool lighting that are all made out of paper mache. And this piece in particular, being white amongst this blue color, it just pops. And I like the texture of it. And then coming in through here, we call this area the sunrise room. This piece of art over the fireplace is by this artist, Peter Keel. I was so into these warm pinks and terracotta colors. It's got some of the blues and teals of my vintage couch. My chair is in this rose tone. It literally is the piece in the space that the whole color palette streams from. It was kind of chaos when we first moved in, and I bought this vintage birdcage stand, and originally I was going to hang a plant from it. My son just took this and popped it on here, and I wish I could take credit for this because I thought that is the coolest way to like showcase a disco ball. I am going to take credit actually because I made you. So it's just experimenting and getting fun with it and not seeing things quite so literally. So we're coming into our dining room here, where a staple of the room is this dining room table, which was an old refectory table from a college. And I love it because it already had so much warmth and patina, and it doesn't matter if you get a watering on it. It doesn't matter if the kids draw on it and get a little paint on it. It just keeps incorporating more character into the piece. We totally changed the kitchen layout, the flow. It was closed off. It had walls and 2 doors that you needed to walk into it, instead of how now it's an open kind of donut down here. It was walls that came to about here on either side and then double French doors. But there was no flow. The flow stopped when you got to the kitchen. And the kitchen was already dated, so it was a perfect opportunity to take it and run with it. It's a small kitchen. It's basically a galley kitchen. It feels large because of the layout itself. And I wanted to have open shelving, but open shelving can be tricky as far as storage goes. With this, we built it all into the stove surround, and it has that little Parisian flair with the unlacquered brass. I think when it comes to working with color, you have to be really intentional about how you use it so it doesn't go overboard and feel like preschool and color explosion. So it's nice to have these quiet moments, like the pale pink of the cabinetry. And then it kind of jazzes up a little bit with the art. I had already kind of amassed this collection of portraits that I really loved. And I started with a one-piece Jacques Pierre right under the light. And he felt lonely there, and it didn't feel able to fill up the wall enough. So I started experimenting with different configurations. And it ended up being something incredibly fun about the space that's so linear. It gives it a little bit of this asymmetrical moment that I have come to love, and now he gets to hang out with all his buddies. If you're just buying things that you love and you just think are cool and you would love to have them in your home, the hardest part is making a cohesive design flow throughout your home. And in this case, what I did in order to let a lot of my pieces shine is to keep the walls white. And because of the open floor plan of the downstairs, that was an opportunity to highlight a lot of my pieces and not have it feel like too much when room to room needs to kind of, you know, speak to each other. The way I use color in this house is by defining color on the ceilings. And then I come in with this texture and pattern, and it's a lot of editing in the end because sometimes I'm like, okay, there's one too many things happening in here. When I saw this ostrich, I was just like, what is that? And I need that immediately. So this is Beyonce, my ostrich. There was a couple times when we were trying to name her, and I think my son wanted to name her Frank. I'm like, that just doesn't sound right. She needs the proper, like, queenly name, Beyonce. This mid-century record player is one of my favorite pieces. I picked it up at an estate sale for $150, and it was completely in working order. And now this room has just kind of become our lounge. Everybody picks their favorite records. Whenever we have a record playing, so everybody knows what we're listening to, we put it in Beyonce's mouth. She's like our DJ. Yeah, my kids hate those. Too bad. You think those are subtly terrifying? I think they're charming. So we decided to go with like an Alfred Hitchcock theme in the bathroom, starting with the Psycho picture. When I saw that floor tile, it's so impactful and graphic, and in a small space like that with no windows, I really wanted something to just pop. And I just like it because it makes people giggle. Subtly terrifying. Okay, stay. Go, boy, stay. Stay. So coming into this space, this is an adults-only chill zone. I was looking for something to cover these two closets because they were such a focal point. There's not much you can do. Even if you wallpaper, you're still dealing with the closet situation. So I wanted to think of something that was more unique. And I found a graffiti artist here. He was also a graphic artist, but out of work at the time. And when he came and he did this and we collaborated, and it was just really fun. And he's become a good friend of mine here as well. And we kind of sparked this space off by literally stamping it with our journey that represents Chicago to Charlotte. When you talk about things that influence you, part of that to me has been movies that are scary, like Alfred Hitchcock, or a little bit of that like Beetlejuice vibe. There's something about her haunted look and all of her eggs that I just find really intriguing. And right through the sitting room, you come into our bedroom area. Anytime I mix patterns, I think the most important thing to think about is scale of the patterns. Not only the colors, but you can't have big pattern, big pattern, big pattern, otherwise it feels too much. So if you break it up with smaller patterns, black and white is a great way to ground a space, and then you can add a little bit more in without it becoming completely overwhelming. All right, so now we're going into my daughter Maddie's room. She's 10. She's got a pretty cool space in here, but we want to still keep it young and fun and vibrant with some fresh colors. Sometimes it sparks my creativity to get more hands-on. Maddie's bedroom has this fireplace, and it's very, very pretty. And we have the room painted this very pale kind of mint color. And I went in one day with this idea to just paint some poppy flowers on there, and I didn't even think too hard about it. And I think sometimes for me that was my biggest issue, is sit in front of a canvas and feel so much pressure to make something amazing. And I didn't feel that. I just wanted to bring joy into my daughter's room. I always think it's important for little girls to have good role models that are women. And I wanted her to feel surrounded by this like gaggle of empowering women, but they're also fun and they're quirky and they're colorful and they all have their own personalities, just like our kids do. She wanted a beach theme. I'm like, I'm not gonna put palm trees on your wall, but I'll definitely get you the shell chandelier. That was on sale. This started out as a craft room until the pandemic went down. Now it's kind of multi-purpose office space. The kids did their schoolwork here. We still use it as a craft space. Obviously, with any good craft space, you have to have a beverage fridge. The ceiling color that we brought into this space is called Dynamic Blue. And it was inspired by my buddy here, the Marlin, who we picked up in an estate sale. My husband and I walked out like holding him on either side. It was like our big catch. Now he graces the wall and tries to not to impale people as they walk in the room, you know? We just like pieces that have a story, and it's not just, I picked this up at West Elm. It's like, no, I met this family. This was their grandmother. It's just, you keep getting that history passed down and becomes part of your home's own story. In my head, when I moved into this house, I envisioned it looking like an art gallery. And it kind of has taken that on, but more in a, we also live here kind of way.
When I was young, our house was, filled with antiques. My parents have amazing taste. I wanted the builder grade modern houses that my friends had. I'm like, ew, our house is so old and filled with junk, And now I'm like, oh my God, what's this? Like, I still have fun looking around the house now with renewed eyes.
Hi, I'm Katie, and this is my handmade home in Los Angeles, California. So what I do for a living is I'm an interior designer and I'm a content creator, and both of those things really influence the way that my space looks, because as a content creator, I am constantly changing spaces in my home, keeping it fresh and exciting, and I have a passion for thrifting, so I'm always getting new pieces and changing pieces out. So when I saw this house online for the first time, I was so excited. It was built in 1953. It's mid-century style, which I do really love, and it just had such great bones. I love the energy of the space. I love this tall, open ceiling, slanted ceiling in this big open room, and I knew it was my house. So when we moved in, this home looked completely different. It was all white. It was very minimal. It kind of had a Japandi decor to it, so a little bit boho, very modern, and it initially inspired the way that I decorated when we moved in. I was a little bit more minimal. I was doing things a little bit more neutral. And then I realized, this isn't me. This does not feel like me. I love color. I need color, and I just went crazy with the color explosion. First of all, let's talk about this wall behind me. This is actually a mural by Photo Wall Sweden. It's called Cosmic Abstraction. It's one of the first major changes that I made in my home that really expressed my personality and felt like me. And 4+ years later, I'm still not sick of it, so I think that's a huge testament to it. That, I think, is one of the most eye-catching pieces in this room. That's definitely one of the things that people comment on the most when they first come in the door. I added this Jonathan Adler neon by Yellow Pop, and I actually thrifted this piece of art in Lake Arrowhead for $20. That was a really good score. These vintage mushroom lamps I got on Facebook Marketplace. These are all little finds that I have thrifted as well, and I have had this piece I got from Sunbeam Vintage 12, 13 years ago. I still love it. It's such a sculptural, fun credenza. I am not sick of it. I think it'll be in my family forever. This beautiful piece here is by Meredith Steele Art. I have some pieces of her in my home. I love her art. My favorite space in our home is this room, actually, because it's such a big open space and it has so many different areas. The living room here is where we watch TV and play games and hang out. Obviously, the dining space is where we eat and come together as a family and with friends. And, you know, this is the entryway, the first introduction to the home. I have all of my work and play in this room, so it's definitely my favorite. Next, we have this office space over here. I do change it out with a chair if I'm actually working, but I got these little leopard ottomans by the inside. You can custom design what you want, and of course leopard is a neutral, so I had to put that in. This burlwood desk is by Dear Keaton. These are all pieces that I got online or thrifted, and these shelves hold some of my most favorite treasures. Either pieces that I've thrifted for the majority, or pottery that's really special to me. One of my very best friends, Robin Watts, he makes pottery, and this is one of the pieces that he did. There's several of his other pieces on these shelves and throughout my home. When people walk through my door, I want them to feel excited. I want them to feel curious. I love talking about all of my vintage finds and my fun pieces, and so I want them to be excited about it too and to want to talk about it and just to have a great time. Then if you move this way, you have my favorite piece in the whole home, this double arc Vintage Nova of California lamp. This was a score that I got on Facebook Marketplace. I died when I saw it, and it really inspired the revamp of this entire space. I changed where I had the couch. It really sparked my love of postmodern and shapely pieces, and I honestly just don't imagine myself ever being sick of it. I think it's a timeless, cool, fun piece. I would define postmodern design as shapely pieces, lots of curves. It's 80s, Italian a lot of the time. Let me tell you about this art. Art, honestly, is the personality of the home. It's so subjective. I have a lot of really interesting pieces in my home, and I think they do reflect my personality, and they make people want to look at them and think about them and talk about them. They're such a great conversation piece. This art is one of my favorite pieces in my whole home. It's such a special piece. It's by Charlene Kane, and she creates these collages using little tiny pieces of paper that she collects from all over the world. She took Son of Man, created Daughter of Woman. I love how she modernized it, and the colors are perfect for in here. It's one of my favorite pieces in my home. Which brings us to the corner, and one of my most talked about pieces in my home, this large quirky face planter. Everyone loves it. I got this from 45.3 Modern Vintage. Such a fun piece. I love the scale of it. And I paired it with this really cool foot planter that's reminiscent of John Dickinson, and I got that from NFS. So maximalism to me does not equate with clutter. And I think a lot of times people think like, oh, you just have like a cluttered home. No, maximalism for me is my love of things, my love of thrifting, and wanting to display all of my treasures, but to do it in an elevated way. So I will have lots of shelving with lots of little decor items. It's mixing a lot of different styles like patterns and colors, but you can do it in a cohesive way so that it makes sense and it's visually interesting. If you stay within the same color families, you're not getting circusy with it. I think a lot of times people think that it's juvenile or circusy or just cluttered, and that's not what I do. Over here, I got this massive Lee Reynolds vintage piece off of Facebook Marketplace. It also disguises my ugly black box, so that's how I cover my TV. I definitely recommend that solution. It's a really, affordable, easy one, especially if you're thrifting it. Let me tell you about this marble statue down here. This beautiful green torso, this is one of my favorite vintage finds. I got this from Odd Collectors online, and I love it so much that it inspired my wallpaper line. The green marble that I'm doing was inspired by this. So these super fun chonky chairs I got from Cardiel as well. These are the mouse chairs. I just loved how whimsical and fun they were, and I think that peach and mustard are two of my favorite colors together. I custom designed these circle ball pillows by Willow and Moon with the leopard fabric because, as I said, it's a neutral and it just really complements the space. I thrifted this fun little sculpture, and this marble table is one of my favorite end tables. That's by Momoki Home. So all of these pieces I actually thrifted on the floor here, and this piece of art I thrifted as well. I just love it. It's so weird and cool. And this is also by Meredith Steele, who did the piece over there. I love the way that her pieces pop in 3D and are just really cool and fun. Behind me, I have one of the most talked about pieces in my home, this big circular shelf. I got this for $50 on Facebook Marketplace, so that was a really great score. I blocked the window, which some people say is a weird design choice, but I love the way the light filters through, and it was just a big square before, and I think it's much more interesting this way. This also holds most of my vintage thrifted treasures. This is one of my greatest finds of all time. This is a Richard Burkett Memphis clock. I got this for $10 in Florida. They have some of the best thrifting there. And this is one of my greatest finds of all time. I thrifted this for $25 in a thrift store in Tehachapi, and I discovered that it was by Paul Blaine Henry, and his pieces go for thousands online. I feel so lucky to have an original oil painting of his that I scored for 25 bucks in a thrift shop. This egg is actually a Lazy Susan, and you can also practice your DJ skills on it. How fun is that? This table I got from Badlands Vintage. It's inlaid bone and brass. These chairs are vintage Douglas of California. This light fixture is the focal point of this area for sure. I had it custom designed by Blueprint Lighting, New York. This super fun squiggle side table I also found on Facebook Marketplace. It was so funny, I couldn't get a hold of the guy for I tried to get this table for like 3 days. I was stalking him, and finally he wrote me back, and I was like, I'll come to you right now, I'll pay for it right now, I want it so bad. So I ended up getting it. I was very happy about that. And this is my colorful, whimsical, vintage 50s kitchen with the mint and the peach. I redid this space. It was all black and white before, and I love the way that it lightened and brightened it. This wallpaper is by Sur le Mur, and fruit salad belongs in your kitchen. Really fun, colorful. I spray painted this piece. I thrifted it for like 10 bucks, and it was just wood. So I spray painted it this lavender to be really fun. I have lots of plants in my kitchen. This space gets the best lighting in my whole home, and honestly, they're the happiest here. So this is where the majority of my plants live. I love these little bay windows here. They host the majority of my succulents. I added in the peach and the mint elements. I thrifted a lot of this colorful glassware. Glassware is such an easy, wonderful thing to thrift. I definitely recommend it. So my oven is by Cooch Designs, and I love these because you can actually change out the front panel. I had it green before when my kitchen was black and white, and then I decided to change the panel to white. So they actually have several different door color options available, which is super convenient for someone like me who loves to change the color in their home often. And then of course, the pièce de résistance is the Smeg refrigerator. This is obviously the focal point of the kitchen. I love the mint, I love the retro design, and it also just works really well for our family, and we love it. So this is my favorite piece in the kitchen for sure. This is my son Sebastian's room. It is very whimsical, very colorful, very fun. I wanted it to be inspiring to him and invigorating, and he absolutely loves it. He actually helped pick out the wall murals. This blue wavy one is by Bellarte Studios. I have made into a big Keith Haring fan, like me too, and that neon is by Yellow Pop with their collaboration with Keith Haring. A lot of these pieces are thrifted as well. He obviously has his books over here, this Turkish rug on the ground. This checkered rug is by Benny Sook. And here we have Felix. This is our bearded dragon. He's shedding right now, so he's a little low energy, but he's real cute and we love him. Our livable space is only 934 square feet, so it is a small space, and we maximize that by going vertically, by adding a lot of shelving, by doing a lot of gallery walls and expressing ourselves through the art on the walls so that everything stays flat and open and you can still display and, be creative. And this loft bed we recently got from Novogratz, and we put it together. It was super easy to do, and it has the desk already built in. So he does his homework down here with his little chair and has his loft bed for nighttime. So we're really space saving here as well. This is a really tiny room. So the way that we made that work, again, was by going vertically. So my pink bathroom, I am very proud of. It was a DIY for me. It was just a white box with a little cylindrical shower and gray hideous tile, and I decided I wanted to redo it all. So I hand painted all of the tile and put in a tub and wallpapered and painted, and now it's a really colorful, fun space. I put in this arch mirror here. And this piece here is by Laura Berger. She's such a talented artist. I first discovered her in Palm Springs at the Ace Hotel. She did a mural there and I fell in love with her work, so I looked her up and I was able to get this limited edition print from her a few years ago. It's still one of my absolute favorites. This is one of my most polarizing pieces on Instagram for sure. Everyone's like either in love with this stool or thinks that it is hideous and says it looks like barnacles left in the bottom of an ocean forever. And I don't mind because I like weird, ugly things. This piece is one of my most asked about pieces in my home. It's called Blush Faces. Such a fun curtain. I think your shower curtain should be fun, so bring that to your space. It's a really easy way to make a transition. Even if you're renting, you don't like your bathroom, get a fun, colorful curtain. And this pink tub I had custom designed by Vintage Tub, the pink color. I gave them the exact color to make, so it matches my bathroom perfectly. I love it. It's where I relax and unwind, and it's my favorite part of the space. So our bedroom is, I just actually redid it to a clay color. I wanted it to kind of feel like a cozy clay cave, and I want it to feel very soothing and peaceful in there. That's where you sleep, obviously, so you don't want anything like jarring, and you know, I'm always attracted to that peachy colors. And the wallpaper that I just put in there is part of a capsule collection that I recently did with Bobby Beck, and it's based off all pieces in my living room that are really popular. So I did 4 different types in different colorways, and that's one of them that is paired with this checkered ombre rug in the living room. So this super cool snake lamp is by Stray Dog Designs. I love their really cool, unique pieces. I also swapped out the lampshade. This is from their site too, but it originally came with a gold shade and I just loved this one, so I swapped that out. My bed I just got from Joybird and I love it. It brings me so much joy. This peach color, and I love that it mimics pillows behind on the headboard. So this is my little 80s Miami corner. I'm not mad at it though, I love that. I got this pink ceramic fish from Pepe's thrift store. I got this really cool ribbed oversized vase from Easton House. He's an amazing Instagram online vintage dealer. I got these really fun postmodern lamps from Harem Modern. And this I got from Fig and Oak. It looks like burlwood, which is what I love about it. It's actually like a laminate, but such a cool piece. I thrifted this, but this was from Penny Marshall's estate. She had amazing taste. And the rest of it pretty much is all thrifted finds. A design trend, an item that never goes out of style. I talked about it already, but I'll talk about it again. Art, 100%. I mean, we can appreciate pieces that are hundreds of years old, you know. If you love it, your style may change. You might not connect with the art anymore, but that art has value. Art's so subjective. It's your own personal style, but it never goes out of style. Like, art is definitely worth the investment every time. I think no space should be without color. Color is how you express yourself. It's your personality. It's your mood. It's a vibe. Like when I walk into a space and I see color, I get you, you know? So personally, I feel like no space should be without color.
Pink Palace. HGTV. Yes, I've been expecting you. Head right up. All right, see you soon. Bye. They're here. It's like a dollhouse. I live in a dollhouse. I'm Kitten, this is Peekaboo, and this is our handmade home in West Hollywood, California. I am the pink queen, the pink lady of Hollywood, the pinkest person in the world. I'm just like, I wear many pink hats, but I'm a recording artist and a TV personality. I first fell in love with pink in 1980 when, for some reason on my birthday, I had on all pink. I just chose an all pink outfit, and from that moment on, I had a spiritual awakening, and I just felt like I found myself. The next day, literally the next day, I gave everything away to my sisters that was not. I had to go out and buy a whole new pink wardrobe. My family thought it was a phase. They were just like, you know, are you sure you don't want this blue skirt? I love it, it's so cute. I'm like, no. I just realized that I was going to be pink for the rest of my life, and I will be. Welcome to my confection kitchen. My refrigerator's pink, my microwave's pink, my toaster's pink. Oh, I have this pink ice chest that I had specially made. It says the Pink Palace. Because this is the, and then I put like, actually, it's not ice, but it's like just fun jewels. And there, these little things are fun, and they make it look more precious. You know, even my bleach is pink. Like I don't do any of the colors. I not only do pink clothes, which is what a normal monochromatic does, but I'm also a pink life. So I only buy pink, wear pink, live pink, speak pink. I even have my own language is pink, like pink-tastic or pink-credible, or everything I try to say, I say pink. Like out of the blue, it's out of the pink. Like I will make up words that people, particular, which means particular. It's totally obsession, but it's not hurting anybody, so I'm just going to keep doing it until the day I'm in my pink coffin. I forgot the question. Seriously, no. What was the question? So the pink sink and the pink stove, I had to have it refinished. Everything that has anything white is gone. There's no traces. And this was all brown, of course. We put these little handles on. They're just decorative and cute. You know, it's just fun. When I moved into this place, everything was white and brown and beige. It was so boring, like brown and beige. Beige is the most boring color in the world. Black is the next most boring. It's not even a color, it's just dark. Sorry, he's wearing all black. I'll take you over here. I love my furniture. It is so 70s, and like, I don't know, it's just hard to find inflatable, sturdy furniture that does not pop or collapse when your dog jumps up on it. Another dream was me being on the cover of Vogue. I wanted it so bad. I love Vogue. Growing up, it was Vogue, 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 Vogue. It was my fashion Bible. But a person doing my makeup one day said, "You're too," and I said, we were talking about dreams. I said, I have a dream. I want to be in Vogue magazine. She goes, "You're too old to be in Vogue." Okay, well, that killed me. I just sat there and I thought, watch me. And guess who's on the cover of Vogue? Full freaking fashion photo spread. Don't ever say someone's too old, to this, to that, to this. Dreams become things. Hello? Living proof, right here. Living proof. Another thing that's hard to find is pink paper towels. They don't make them. This is my lip sofa, a replica of the Dolly red pink lip sofa that costs thousands of dollars, almost $1 million, but it's my version of it, and I love it so much. And then you just throw a feather boa up on your chandelier and add some pink, and it makes it look, you know, make stuff look pink. If it's not pink, you can make it look pink with the appearance. When people walk through the door of the Pink Palace, I just want them to feel a sense of like love and warmth and fun and happiness. And a lot of times when they do walk through the door, they're like stunned. They know I love pink. They see it on the outside, but when you get in here, it's even like pink overdrive. Now, the funniest thing is I went on a blind date with this guy who was colorblind, and I didn't know he was colorblind, so I'm like, you know, waiting for no reactions whatsoever. Like, pinks me up, comes in, like, so I just have to know, what do you think? And he goes, about what? And I said, all the pink. And he goes, oh, you're wearing pink? Looks great to me. I'm colorblind. I laughed so hard. I gave him the pink slip. I said, next. Because I have to be with someone that at least appreciates the pink. Oh, and this right here is a little, my friend Pinkini gave me this. She made it. It's beautiful. It's a dog carrier. So yeah, she's an actual gifted little artist like this. You put the pink pup in here and you go for like a walk. People are freaking out. They're like, welcome to the rest of the Pink Palace. I would say the proudest DIY moment in my home would be, it's between the carousel and the bed. I love the carousel because it's fun. It's got little candy on it. So with the bottom of the base, it was wooden, and we painted it So it's pink underneath, but it just looks so plain. You know, this is all gorgeous, and we just need something to fluff it up. It works. I got this on Craigslist. Peekaboo. I got this on Craigslist for Peekaboo, no.
Peekaboo, come here.
Go say hi. I got this. Peekaboo, come here. So this is Peekaboo, my little pink pom. She's super sweet. I use a beet juice in the bath to color her fur. It's just like 2-3 tablespoons of beet juice, and it works out perfect. And look how pretty she looks. She looks beautiful. I don't have a recliner, I have a throne and a crown. Everyone should have a throne and a crown. And I found this on Craigslist too. I actually got that by working for it. Like, I saw that on Craigslist and I wrote the person, I said, hey, I'm the pink queen, I'm the queen of pink. But I was like, I love the throne so much. I will clean your apartment. I can clean your house for 3 months. And he wrote back, he goes, are you a good cleaner? But I only cleaned his house for like 2 months and I got the throne, but I felt like Cinderella, like looking at that throne. We're gonna go over to my fabulous pink round bed that I love. So comfortable. Peekaboo likes it too. I love this because it's sort of a dramatic effect. You know, you're just kind of like, this is a mosquito net, I think, but you know, it's basically for drama. I mean, you're laying down and you just feel like so beautiful and dramatic. It's dramatic. Love it. So what I do is at the start of the day, I go get dolled up in my vanity, and then I'll come over here and go, how do I feel today? Because to me, these are like kind of retro 70s. So I'll put these on. It's like, hey, I have a problem if I see sunglasses online or somewhere, even at the Fairfax swap meet over there at Melrose, the trade. I'm like, oh, how, you know, they know me. They're like, here, these pink ones pink. I'm like these are like space alien. Like, I love these. These are so awesome. These are probably one of my favorites right here because they're so hilarious. Furry, like furry. If I'm feeling rock star. I actually got 2 pairs of these because I love them so much. My makeup artist gets so mad because I always want to wear something. He's like, you can't see your eyelashes. I just did all this makeup and you're pink. You know, if I'm by the pool, of course I want the flamingo ones because they're hilarious. They're amazing. I love sunglasses because it just completes the look. It even gives it more of a, like, I understand Elton John so much because he loves sunglasses like I love sunglasses. And then I come over here. This is the first thing, and then this is just extra costume stuff. I come over here and I get dolled up. And then all this, I'll say, you are pink starburst, you know, custom. Because I am a pink starburst. And then this is all my costume stuff, my hats, like this custom hat made just for me, fun, fabulous. Did a photo shoot in this, which is like, oh my gosh, flamingos. Oh, this is sort of rock and roll, wow. All sequin jacket, which you know, you can never have enough sequin. This sequin, oh my gosh, jacket. I went through a metallic stage. I don't know, just fun. It's like, wow, I don't know what I wore that for. Can't remember. This robe, I'll put this on later, but this is like dramatica. Top hat, you never know. I don't even wear this on New Year's Eve. And that's it. Now I gotta put everything up. I love my pink bathtub. It is my favorite because every night I take a bubble bath. I love bubbles. I just love my pink toilet. It makes me happy. I know that's crazy, but it's like the other throne. They're like, we can't do a pink toilet. I'm like, why? Please, please, I'm begging you. And he's like, because we can't go inside the toilet and do it. I'm like, I don't care about the inside. That's what the whole, just do the, all I care about is the outside, the visual, you know. I'm not gonna worry about if the inside is pink. I think every home needs some pink. I mean, every home needs a pop of pink. Every home in America, in the world actually, needs a pop of pink because pink is a fun color.
This This is what's inside me, what you see here in this house. This is the best way that I can describe what it's like to be Maria. Hi, I'm Maria. This is my handmade home in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name's Maria Bartholdi. I do about 500 things for a living. I'm mildly internet famous. I'm a podcaster, improviser, write musicals, edit video, shoot video, produce video. Also a neurosurgeon on Sundays. Just kidding. I bought this house in 2020, right in the heart of the pandemic. It's a craftsman style home, and I could tell the bones were really, really good, and that was the most important to me. Essentially, it was a blank slate, and I just got in here and threw down like a wrestler. My whole vision behind decorating this home was that I wanted to be inspired creatively. Going out and doing what I do is a lot of giving, right? You're on stage, you're in front of the camera, you're constantly giving yourself to the audience. I wanted to come home and feel like, yes, I'm reinvigorated to do more of what I love. That was the vision behind everything being colorful. The maximalist style was just wanting to feel kind of like an explosion of creativity. Hello, this is the living room. It's a burst of color and hopefully a very happy experience. It started probably with the couch because I knew that I wanted to have a chartreuse green 70s style couch. I think everything else is an offshoot of that. It went up onto the walls. It's my favorite color, and so many things in my life are this color. I just love it so much. So this is my gallery wall of all of my most favorite pieces of art. This is one of the things that I think is such an easy upgrade to make in your house. I know it might look scary, like I got a ruler and a measuring tape and I measured everything here precisely. I did not do that. All I did was I measured the center of the room, boom, put this big unicorn piece here in the middle, and then I sort of just eyeballed everything else. This is my cathode ray tube TV that has been turned into a cat bed. This is a super easy project. It's just been gutted, and then on the inside I painted a little starscape so that the kitties can have nice dreams when they go in there. I love wallpaper. If I could wallpaper every room in a house, you know, I probably would. This wallpaper I agonized over for weeks and weeks what to do. I eventually landed on this black and white mural, which I think is a really cool idea. It's all one piece of uninterrupted art. That inspired the fireplace to become black instead of white. It's a nice anchoring color because there's so much color in this house. To have a few heavy black elements is really cool. So the dining room was built actually around this light fixture. I wanted a lot of heavy black elements to also match the fireplace, and that's where you get this black granite table, which I absolutely love. Yeah, so here's my game cabinet. It's one of the premier things that I bought for my home. I needed a place to put my games, but also it displays kind of who I am as a person. I have a regular board gaming group. We meet and we play games every Monday. And then for my job, we'll sometimes be playing board games to review for the YouTube channel. Is it work? I don't know, you decide. Like, this is a huge part of my life, and it's on display as a design element, which I think is a cool thing to think about. How can you display who you are through design? I think it was just a slow accumulation of stuff, honestly. You know, I'll be out and I'll see something and I'll just be like, yes, this I must acquire and bring to my collection. It's like those birds that make a nest and they decorate it with little bits of glass. I'm one of those birds. Here's my tribute to my great uncle, Frederick August Bartholdi, who designed the Statue of Liberty. Once when I was young, we went to the Statue of Liberty and I was like, do you think they'll let us in for free if we show them our IDs? I'm not just a proud American, that's family history. As you can see, I love playing with light. Alexa, turn on dinosaur light. There we go. So here's a fun one that you can program to be any colors you want. I've got a neon sign up there which was custom made. You can get those now anywhere. A smart bulb in my lady lamp. At night, this place looks like a disco. This is the piece de resistance, Lloyd, the robot bartender. I'm a huge fan of robots. I love everything about them. And I drew a lot of robots. I had an Instagram account called Robot a Day where I draw one every day. Robot bars apparently were a thing that coincided with the moon landing, and someone said, you should have this. And I looked it up, you can't of course buy them. So I contacted a local woodworker who graciously offered to build me one and did it in a week and a half. And so this is Lloyd. Do you want a drink? Lloyd will provide. He's named Lloyd after the bartender in The Shining. So this is my favorite piece that I have in my house because it's fun, it's whimsical, it's functional. He's great. I love this bathroom. This is the downstairs bathroom. I can't take credit for it, unfortunately. The owners before me flipped it, and it is gorgeous. The fun story with this bathroom is that 2 owners ago, a pair of nuns left the convent to be together, and they lived together in this house for 25 years. Talk about being trailblazers. To be 2 women who are Catholic nuns, number 1, leaving the convent, number 2, living as 2 women together, is so brave and incredible. When they were demoing this bathroom, they found that behind this mirror was written on the wall, Jan loves Emma. And I can only imagine that it's still there today. And that just makes me so happy to know that this was such a loving home for some people for so long. And I just love that story. And it inspired me, actually. That's the next musical I'm working on right now. It's called Jan Loves Emma, and it's a biography of them. Ooh, this is cool. This is a watercolor that's done of the front of my house that was painted by the 2 nuns who lived here. That was a neat item that's been handed down through 3 owners and given to me. So whoever owns it after me will also get it, which I think is really cool. This is my office. The main focal point of this office here is this feature wall. This house is more than 100 years old, and for its 100th birthday, I thought it'd be very cute to get the house a present. And so I decided to put in a mural. We did it in the Art Deco style of the 1920s to honor the house's creation. This is where I do my watercolors. These I just do for fun, for myself. During the pandemic, I think we all turned inward. We needed something to help soothe ourselves, to calm ourselves. And I had just recently gotten for Christmas a watercolor set, and I started drawing women. Being a proud feminist and being a champion for women, it was just a subject matter I was drawn to. I found it to be so incredibly healing as a process. It's so relaxing and wonderful to have a nice space to do them. So this is my watercolor area right next to where I work. So this is where I'll host podcasts, esports tournaments, all from my house because of the pandemic now. It makes me feel happy to be in here, and whenever you're doing work, that is a good feeling to have. This is another example of a gallery wall. My house is a little tiny one, except this one is all my work. These are some of my watercolor ladies. These are some of my most favorite pieces. You can kind of see the evolution of the style that I've developed, where this one's more traditional, and then I'm getting more experimental with these ones, which I kind of like. Also, if you have nice jewelry, show it off, you know? That's why I have these in clear cases. A lot of them are handmade by local artists. You know, I like to think of them as little mini pieces of art in and of themselves. Anywhere that I'm in my house, I want to be thinking, this is my favorite spot in the house right now. That's how I want to feel in every single room. I think people would describe my personality as excitable, loud. I like to be happy, and hopefully that's reflected in the design of this home and the way that I've put it together. Happiness in a home, that's kind of, I guess, how I would describe my design aesthetic here. What does happiness look like? This, at least for me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Handmade for more home tours just like this.